Hi, it's Charlie Puth. As a writer and producer, I need to get my ideas down. With Bic's 4-color pen, I can. It's a really big part of my creative process. I'd love to share that process with you at an event on October 22nd in New York City. Visit bic4colorvip.com to learn how you could win a trip to the event. And remember, the more Bic products you buy, the greater your chances to win.
Bic is a proud supporter of education.
Amplify your career through training and development solutions specifically designed for federal government professionals. From courses to help you attain or retain certification, to individualized coaching services, to programs that hone your leadership skills and business acumen, Management Concepts optimizes your professional development. Online, in person, individually, or groups, it's training that's measurably better. Learn more at managementconcepts.com. That's managementconcepts.com.
Welcome to this week's Harness Racing Alumni Show. I'm Freddie Hudson, and I'm here today with Trade Martin, Bob Marks, and Andy Cohen. This week's show is brought to you by Capital South, LLC, a Washington, D.C. lobby and public relations firm headed by Washington, D.C. top lobbyist Marty Irby. For more information, call or text 202-821-5686.
Once again, that number is
202-821-5686.
Capital South, LLC, Marty Irby.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show is the #1 harness racing podcast in North America. We have sponsorships and advertising spots available. For more information, email rrtrotten@outlook.com or visit ustrots.com. The statements and opinions of our guests are their personal opinions and beliefs, and it does not necessarily represent the opinions of the Harness Racing Alumni Show or of its host.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show with your hosts, Freddie Hudson and Trade Martin.
For this week's show, we recorded the testimony of Alice Allen at the July 24th New Jersey Racing Commission meeting. Here's her testimony.
My name is Alice Allen. I was here a year ago, almost a year ago to the day. And it was my farewell tour. And I think today, if you're willing to listen, I'll explain why. Because the regulation in racing is a systemic failure. I spent my whole life, 50 years in this sport. I love this sport more than any person could ever know. And no one had the answers for the decline in racing. They all said it was technology, the computers, the fast games. But everybody loves horses. Football has technology. They're still doing well. Hockey, baseball, but they solved the systemic failures. When there were problems and regulations, they addressed it. June 26th, United States Federal Court posted on PACER the exhibit in the federal trials. It is exhibit SFX 1800. SFX 1800 is the purchases and the clients that the drugs were given to in our horses. And the largest federal indictment in the history of any sport. They redacted that exhibit, but they didn't redact it all. You see, they left the dates of their purchases. They left enough to identify them. They left their horses' names. And horses can't talk. That exhibit is 5,007 pages, with an additional 2,048 pages. I went through 11,000 pages, piece by piece, like that song, piece by piece. I cross-referenced it with USDA data. I cross-referenced it with horses, race dates, owners. And we should all be ashamed of ourselves. So what I did for everybody, because it is the sport of keys and it is the sport of crooks, I made a thumb drive, paid analysts, worked so hard so I could make it to this meeting, because I don't live in New Jersey. I hide from people like everybody, because the retribution is severe. So what I will tell you, in the government forfeiture on March 5th of last year, Fishman told the truth. He introduced the invoices for equestrology. And in the government forfeiture hearing, they also introduced a whole lot more. But the commissions, the regulators, they didn't care. They never obtained those copies to protect our sport. Because in those exhibits, I read about it in the magazine about some case named Taylor, Blue Chip Farm, buy the best, breed the best. It's give the best. Because on July 31st, in one single day, Protect Blue Chip, Pelican Blue Chip, Obnoxious Blue Chip, I could go on forever, all got EPO the same day. The same day. TB7, Equimass, they all got it the same day. The largest accounts, Mr. Wilstetter, Fishman's attorney, he didn't give the complete document. That's 22,000 pages stored. I'm a busy girl right now. Because it will come. And you people all know. Because in those accounts, they listed the purchases, and what was provided were the highest purchases. This guy, Taylor, Castellino, Weinstein, Lombardo, Gold, Basson, Davis, they were all partners. Account number 2000, 2066 734 2022 1846 1454 1950 705 706 900 1200 661. All belong to them. EPO, TB7, not once. All these horses. And I'm the girl that sat back and watches and takes care of them and sees it and watches the people bury them. Now, I went further. They posted the wiretaps, the extractions. I thought, okay, maybe there's a commission that will stand up. Maybe there will be somebody that will stand up and hear the deafening silence, the horses. No one did. I sent those wiretaps to Ohio, Indiana, New York. I asked them if they wanted to see it. I asked them if they wanted the thumb drives. We're not interested. See, Grandpa was a biochemist. I came from an educated family. BB3 is EPO. Your other exhibit is Harness. You ever take Harness? Makes you run. Builds your white blood cells to the point. So you take the EPO, you go ahead and make the blood thick, mass produce red blood cells, and then in every exhibit of the fastest horses that are in these SFX 1800, every horse got 10 to 20 pounds of thyroid every single month. If you've ever had a thyroid problem, you know what it does. You know what it does. It races your heart, it speeds the metabolism. They beat you guys in their own system, just like Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong didn't test positive, but cycling realized there was a problem, and they went for it, and they stood very tough. It's embarrassing to me to say this before you. See, I didn't respect Judith Nason because they didn't try to fix the problem. But I do today because in the wiretaps on January 10th, 2019, is Mike Galata, a couple days later, they're going to get her out of here. We're going to use the Northern Virgin case. We're going to use the Northern Virgin case to go ahead and show that this boy that's indicted in the penitentiary now was denied due process. Zurich wasn't denied due process. You people were, to protect the cloth. Because also in those wiretaps is Mark Ford, John Tomasello. Don't worry. Mr. Galata and I were working on getting her out of here. We're going to use the Northern Virgin case. Mr. Galata, I called the governor, Bill Murphy. Let him know that this is bad for racing. I need 5 more minutes, Mr. Salerno, and then I will leave. But it's my life, and he won't hear. And I ask, because I brought my thumb drives with me. I wanted to keep this meeting private, and I wanted you people to know, because I don't want to turn them into the media. I love our sport, and I'd like for my last words to be before you guys instead of your media. Count number 1378, Mark Ford, one of the biggest purchasers in Fishman's. You see, I love our industry, but in between all those exhibits, the one that stood out the most that we don't read about, the sheiks. Saudi Arabia, presidential affairs, sued our country for the drugs. Sued the United States of America for the drugs. And on their invoices, 1,000 units of BB3 ETO. I did my research, and everything is in black and white. And do you know, they can still race horses. And I thank you, because this was look, there is no one going to stand before you people and be as honest as I sat right here. And I say this to you, I don't envy your jobs, but I asked the Attorney General's office through a commission to give us the same due process, because those men and those people I mentioned denied us ours. And if it can't be done, and we can't say there's a drug problem, and when you can't go through the exhibits, they've been tested. I read the book in Hong Kong. It's a public study. They know what it is. The work is done. In the transcripts, the closing statement of Sarah Mortazavi, please give these vets, please give them a penalty that is worth this, because it will set a precedent that will help the industries. And the argument of forfeiture, and I just happen to agree with them, but sorry, the criminal clientele owe them money. In case something happens, for your record, I'll say thank you to MediVet, MUVet, Henry Schein, Doc's Pharmacy, Nature's Vet, Rapid Equine, Horse Necessities, Church Veterinary Supply, Tailor Made Pharmacy, Midwest Veterinary Supply, Buy Right Pharmacy, Amgen, Wisdom Pharmacy in Saudi, Dynajet in Australia. They supplied the drugs. It was just a peptide that altered them. The veterinarians that contributed, Dr. Pelfrey, Dr. Fishman, Dr. Chain, Dr. Ryan, Dr. Skelton, Dr. Jeremy Owens, Dr. Cohen, Dr. Grasso, Alexander Chen, Christian Ryan, Dr. Beluga, Dr. Hollendiner, Dr. Zen, Dr. Rhodes, Dr. Elaine Gillis, Dr. Loomis, Dr. Corinda, Dr. Boswell, Dr. Vernon, Dr. Monty Sachs, Dr. David Sachs, Dr. Andy Roberts, Dr. Cates, Steve Cedrish, Dr. Kurt, and Dr. Loomis. Thank you. You guys can reach to me, because, thank you, Mr. Salerno. It's hard to say 50 years is worth 15 minutes. But you know what? I came here because of you. Because your name was there, how they tried to pressure you. And you did a hell of a job in that hearing. And you stood up and did what was right. That's why I came. Thank you.
Now, over to Andy.
Thanks, Fred. I'm going to try again to get Lisa Lazarus, the head of the HISA Authority, to talk a little bit more about the budget, the proposed 2025 budget. We got some of the details a couple of weeks ago, but the small little budget item that they listed online doesn't really answer a lot of questions. So I'll try to have some more detail on that. Have a good week. Have a good weekend of racing. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you, Andy. The Harness Racing Alumni Show is the #1 harness racing podcast in North America and is listened to worldwide on multiple platforms, including Spreaker, iHeartRadio, USTrots.com, HarnessLink, Google Podcasts, and many others. To our audience, thanks for listening, and please join us again next week.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show.
Now let's talk about the